All right, let's dive into some black magic rituals.
Okay.
This text we're looking at today, it paints a picture of black magic that's not just about, spooky spells and curses.
Yeah.
It's more nuanced. It looks at humanity and our fascination with harnessing those forces that we can't really see or touch.
Right, and it's like this universal human impulse
Yeah.
to try to understand and control the things that we don't see. Like it shows up in cultures all over the world.
Exactly. Like the evil eye. Have you
Mhm.
ever thought about how that concept, the evil eye, it's everywhere
Oh, yeah. Is it
in
true?
so many different cultures.
It really is.
You've got the Greek Tumatiasma,
Yeah.
Hebrew Ayin Hara,
Yeah.
Spanish Mal de Ojo.
Yeah.
Like the idea that somebody can look at you and,
It'll curse you.
yeah, it's just a glance.
Yeah, and it's like on the surface it seems like superstition,
Right.
but it really speaks to like a deeper thing about psychology and the power of intention.
So what does the text say about how this evil eye works?
Well, it says it disrupts like your aura, like your energy field,
You've got
throws your connection to the universe off. And then that can lead to,
bad stuff.
bad stuff. Yeah.
Like what kind of bad stuff?
Oh,
Accidents.
accidents, illnesses,
Mm.
money troubles, relationships going sour.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
That's what the text says.
If you think you've been cursed,
Right.
then you just make it happen.
Exactly. Yeah. You unconsciously start acting in ways that,
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
attract that bad stuff.
So how do you protect yourself from this?
The text talks about a few things, amulets and talismans,
Okay.
like warding off negative energy, connecting with your inner daemon.
Hold on. The daemon. What is that?
It's this concept from ancient Greek philosophy. It's like an inner spirit,
Okay.
your guiding force, like a personal guardian angel
Mm.
or an inner voice of wisdom. And in black magic, it's seen as this bridge between your conscious and unconscious mind,
Okay.
the key to unlocking hidden knowledge.
So you're not just summoning something from outside,
Right.
you're looking inside yourself as well.
You're going within.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's talk about something a little more intense, like demonic invocation.
Okay.
The Ars Goetia.
Right, the first part of the Lesser Key of Solomon. This grimoire, this magic book that has fascinated occultists and scholars for, forever.
So what are we talking about? Drawing pentagrams and chanting in Latin? Give us the details.
The book does describe these really elaborate rituals. Like, there's specific tools and incantations,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't advocate for, forcing demons to appear.
Okay.
It's more about invocation,
That's just-
calling on the demonic force that's already inside you.
So it's not controlling something outside of you.
Right.
It's tapping into
Your shadow self.
the stuff we normally hide away.
Exactly.
Okay, and how do you do that?
So they talk about, you need certain materials. Braziers, candles, lard, bones, red dye,
Okay.
even whiskey.
Whiskey. All right, I'm in.
So each of these things has a symbolic meaning.
Okay.
It sets the mood. It helps you focus your intention.
Okay, but demons, invocation. I mean, this sounds a little scary.
Yeah, the text does emphasize that you need to be respectful.
Okay.
You need to say a proper goodbye to the spirits you work with, especially the demonic ones.
It's like you're having a house guest,
Right.
but the stakes are a little higher.
Much higher.
Okay, so talking about high stakes and pushing boundaries,
Yeah.
let's talk about the abyss.
The abyss.
It's like the center of the universe.
It is a portal to incredible knowledge and power,
Okay.
but also potential madness.
Mhm.
It's this concept that has fascinated people for centuries. Christian mystics, Lovecraft, Crowley.
It's like this black hole of information that
Yeah.
can either make you super smart or drive you crazy.
Exactly. So how do you get there?
It's not about physically traveling. Okay.
It's about going inward,
Okay.
isolating your mind from your body.
Freaky.
Deep meditation,
Yeah.
descending into the deepest parts of your consciousness.
And what's down there?
Well, you might face challenges, even enemies.
That sounds a little scary.
Yeah, and the text is really clear about the risks.
Like what?
Mental instability,
Okay.
disturbing visions,
Mm-hmm.
questioning your identity.
You might not even know who you are anymore.
Right.
So what kind of person is drawn to this kind of thing?
Someone who wants to know the truth,
Mm-hmm.
someone who's driven to understand reality, no matter the cost.
Wow. So let's switch gears for a second. Talk about someone who might have taken this forbidden knowledge thing too far.
Okay.
Countess Elizabeth Bathory.
Oh, the Blood Countess.
The text, it says she was obsessed with staying young and beautiful.
It's a dark and twisted story.
And when you say dark and twisted, we're talking about...
Well, she was said to bathe in the blood of young virgins, to stay young. It's a story that's been told for centuries.
It sounds horrific.
It is. But it speaks to our fear of aging and the lengths some will go to cheat death.
So was any of it true?
Countess Bathory was a real person.
Okay.
And she was imprisoned for her crimes.
Right.
But the details of the blood rituals, it's hard to say for sure. Some of it might be exaggerated.
Right, but still it makes you think about the corrupting nature of power and obsession.
It does.
So, switching gears again, we've got another concept here. Creating artificial life.
The homunculus.
This tiny human being created artificially. I mean, that's straight out of science fiction.
It is. And it's been fascinating people for a long time. Alchemy, Frankenstein, Faust.
It's like mad scientists playing God in their labs.
It raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, like what?
Is it wrong to try and mimic nature's power?
Okay.
What happens if you create something you can't control?
Right.
And if this homunculus is alive, does it have the same rights as a human?
Yeah. Some heavy stuff to think about.
Really makes you think.
All right, let's move on to something a little less Frankenstein-y and a little more spooky.
Okay.
Necromancy.
Communicating with the dead.
You know, it's not as fringe as it might seem.
Right.
You could even argue that, like, the veneration of saints in Christianity.
Has some parallels.
Interesting. So it's not just about bossing spirits around.
Right.
It's more about, like, building a bridge between the living and the dead.
A connection.
So how do you contact the spirits?
The text talks about choosing the right place, like a home altar, crossroads, maybe even a graveyard.
Okay.
And connecting with your daemon.
There's that daemon again.
It's your protector and advisor in the spirit world.
Okay.
It helps you figure out who to trust. And it's important to give offerings, show respect.
Like what?
Food, drink, tobacco, even money.
So it's about being respectful.
Right.
Treating them like guests, not slaves.
Exactly.
Okay, but we can't talk about necromancy without talking about zombies. Is there any truth to that whole zombie myth?
The text connects it to Haitian voodoo. Pukors, these voodoo sorcerers.
Okay.
They're believed to have the power to create zombies.
Wait, really?
Not exactly like the movies, but the idea of using magic to control someone.
Yeah.
That's deeply rooted in Haitian culture.
Yeah, you do it.
You talk about a zombie powder.
Made of?
Human bones, poisonous plants.
Okay.
And get this, parts of a pufferfish.
A pufferfish? Why?
Tetrodotoxin.
What's that?
It's a powerful neurotoxin. It can make someone look dead, even to a doctor.
So they're not really dead.
They might not be, but they're very vulnerable.
And the bookworm takes advantage of that.
Yeah, they can control the person.
So it's more about manipulation than resurrection.
In a way, yes.
That's pretty disturbing. Let's talk about something else disturbing, the lich. Another form of living death.
Right, but instead of trying to preserve the body,
Yeah.
they transfer their soul into a magical object, a phylactery.
So they're basically hiding their soul.
Yeah, to cheat death.
What happens if the phylactery breaks?
That's it. They die for good.
So why become a lich in the first place?
Fear of death, desire for power, the desire for forbidden knowledge. They want to live forever, accumulate power.
But are they really living stuck in this undead form tied to an object?
Makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. Okay, let's move on to something a little more grounded. Haruspicy.
Oh, yes. Reading the entrails of sacrificed animals.
That one always makes me a little queasy.
It was a big deal in ancient Rome.
Why the guts?
They believed the organs, especially the liver, reflected the universe.
Really?
Like a microcosm. The shape, the markings, they were messages from the gods.
So it wasn't just random.
No, there was a whole system for interpreting the sign.
Okay, so they would, like, look for patterns.
Exactly.
It's amazing how much meaning they could find in something like that.
They believed everything was connected. You know.
Okay, let's talk about something a little less messy. Defictiones. Those Roman curse tablets. I've always been fascinated by those lead tablets.
They were basically personalized curses.
So if you wanted to get revenge on someone...
You could commission a defixio.
And how did it work?
They would inscribe the curse on a lead tablet and bury it or hide it near the victim.
And that would, like, magically link the curse to them.
Right, and they would often invoke a specific deity to make it stronger.
So, like, a magical hitman.
Kind of.
Were they always for bad stuff?
Mostly. But sometimes they were used for protection or healing.
So it depended on the person's intention.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the Black Mass.
All right.
It's got such a bad reputation.
It has, but the text says we should look at it with a more critical eye.
Okay, so what was it really like?
Well, it seems like it was a mockery of the Catholic Mass,
Oh,
a way for people who felt oppressed by the church to fight back.
so it was more about rebellion than devil worship.
Right.
They were challenging authority, exploring different spiritual paths, and the text talks about a modern version of the Black Mass,
Ah.
one that focuses on personal empowerment.
It involves a group of people gathering around a brazier.
Okay.
They destroy personal symbols, things they want to let go of.
Interesting.
And then the priestess offers a chalice filled with wine,
Okay.
mixed with her menstrual blood.
Wait, what?
The text says it's about reclaiming the power of the feminine.
Okay.
Menstrual blood is seen as a life force, not something to be ashamed of.
So they drink it.
Yes, it's symbolic. They're taking in that life force, that power.
It's a powerful image.
It is.
Okay, we've talked about so much. What are the key takeaways here?
I think it's important to remember that black magic is complex. It's not just about evil or negativity. It's about exploring the unseen forces of the universe and how they work.
And it's not just about spells and curses. It's about understanding the power of belief, the mind, and the consequences of our actions.
Exactly.
It's about respecting the forces we're dealing with. All right, that's it for part 1 of our deep dive into black magic rituals.
Right.
We'll be back soon with part 2. We'll be exploring even more fascinating rituals and concepts.
Can't wait. So we're back, diving deeper into these black magic rituals, and we left off talking about zombies. It's a topic that keeps coming up, and the text goes into more detail about how they're supposedly made in Haitian voodoo.
Yeah, I'm still a little creeped out by the whole thing, to be honest. Especially the part about the book war, the voodoo sorcerer. It's wild to think about, like, living in a community where someone could have that kind of power over life and death.
I know, right? And the text talks about this zombie powder.
Yeah. What's the deal with that? What's in it?
It's a mix of some pretty intense stuff, human bones, poisonous plants. Oh, and get this, parts of a pufferfish.
A pufferfish? What, like sushi gone wrong? What does that have to do with zombies?
Well, it's the tetrodotoxin. It's this really powerful neurotoxin that's found in some pufferfish. And get this, it can actually make someone look dead. Like, even a doctor might not be able to tell the difference.
No way. So you're telling me they poison the person with this stuff, make them look dead, and then what? They control them somehow.
That's the idea, although the text makes it clear that it's not as simple as just poisoning someone. It's a whole ritual, with incantations and gestures and spiritual energy.
And maybe some mind games too, right? Like maybe they use drugs or something to make the person more suggestible.
Yeah, the text hints at that. It's pretty scary stuff.
It is, but why would someone do that? Why go to all that trouble to create a zombie?
There are a few theories. The text mentions punishment, like if someone breaks the rules. Or maybe they want to use the person for labor, make them work against their will.
That's messed up.
It is, and the text
Okay.
even suggests that sometimes they might use the zombie to carry out their own will, like an extension of themselves.
So basically power gone wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, a reminder that power can be a dangerous thing, especially when you're messing with life and death and free will. And that actually brings us to another concept that plays with that line between life and death, the lich.
Right. The lich. Tell me more about that.
Okay, so the lich is this kind of classic figure in black magic. They want to live forever, but they do it in a really weird way.
Mhm.
Instead of preserving their body, they put their soul into a magical object. It's called a phylactery.
Like a soul container.
Yeah, pretty much.
But what happens if the container breaks?
That's it. Game over. The lich is gone for good.
Wow, high stakes. So why would someone choose that? Why not just try to live a long life?
Well, the text says it's usually driven by fear. Fear of death, or maybe they crave power, knowledge. They want to live forever, amass power, unlock secrets.
But are they really living, trapped in this undead form attached to an object? It doesn't sound very appealing.
Yeah, it really makes you think about what it means to truly live, right?
For sure. Okay, enough with death for now. Let's talk about something a little more down to earth. Haruspicy.
Oh yeah, haruspicy. That's a good one. Reading the entrails of sacrificed animals.
I know we talked about it briefly before, but can you remind me, what's the point?
Well, imagine you're back in ancient Rome and you need to make a big decision. You might go see a haruspex. They're like divination experts who can read the signs and the organs of a sacrificed animal, usually a sheep or an ox.
Okay, and why the organs? What makes them so special?
They believed the organs, especially the liver, were like a miniature version of the
A
universe.
microcosm.
Yeah, microcosm. They thought they could see messages from the gods in the shape and the markings.
So they weren't just randomly poking around in there. There was an actual system.
Oh, yeah, a very complex system.
Yeah.
I had it all mapped out. Different parts of the liver corresponded to different deities, different areas of life.
That's wild. I mean, it's kind of gross, but I get it. People looking for meaning, trying to understand the world around them.
Exactly. Okay, let's shift gears again and talk about something a little more, let's say, direct. Deficciones. Those Roman curse tablets.
Ah, yes, the curse tablets. Tell me more.
Well, imagine you've been wronged by someone and you want revenge. You might hire a magician to create a defixio for you. It's a curse, basically, written on a lead tablet.
Like a magical revenge spell.
Exactly. And the text goes into detail about how they made them. They'd write the victim's name on it and all the bad things they wanted to happen.
Okay, so they'd write it all down and then, what, bury it somewhere?
Yeah, usually they'd bury it or hide it near the person they wanted to curse. The idea was to create a link between the curse and the victim.
Like a magical homing missile.
Right, and they'd often call on a specific god or spirit to make the curse stronger.
Wow, so were they always for bad stuff?
Mostly, yeah. But the text mentions that sometimes they were used for protection or to ask for healing for someone.
So it really depended on the person's intention.
Exactly. Magic can be a powerful tool, but it all comes down to how you use it.
I like that. So, last but not least, let's talk about a ritual it's gotten a pretty bad rap over the years. The Black Mass.
Yeah, the Black Mass, it's definitely got a dark reputation.
But the text encourages us to, look beyond the hype, the sensationalism.
Right, to understand the history and the context.
So, what was the Black Mass really like?
It seems like it was mainly a way for people to rebel against the Catholic Church.
Okay.
They would mock the Mass, turn it upside down.
So they weren't worshiping the devil or anything like that?
Not necessarily. It was more about challenging authority, questioning the established power structures.
Right. And the text also mentions a modern take on the Black Mass.
Yeah, a more positive interpretation.
What's that all about?
Well, it's a group ritual where people gather around a brazier
Okay.
and they burn personal symbols, things that represent things they want to let go of.
It's like a symbolic cleansing.
Exactly. And then the priestess offers a chalice of wine mixed with her menstrual blood.
Whoa, hold on. Menstrual blood.
It's about reclaiming the power of the feminine. The text emphasizes that menstrual blood is a life force. It's creative. It's not something to be ashamed of.
Okay, but do they, drink it?
It's a symbolic act. They're taking in that life force, that feminine energy.
It's a powerful image.
It really is.
Okay, so much to unpack here. What are the main takeaways?
Well, I think the text is trying to show us that black magic is more than just spooky rituals and dark intentions. It's about exploring the hidden forces of the universe, the power of the mind, and understanding the consequences of our actions.
It's about being mindful, respectful, and aware.
Exactly. And we're going to keep exploring these themes as we move on to the next segment.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our black magic deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground. Zombies, curses, ancient rituals. What are some of your final thoughts on all of this?
Well, I think it's important to remember that even though these rituals might seem strange to us now, they all come from this basic human need, to connect with the unseen, the forces that shape our world.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to understand and control those things we can't see or touch.
Right? Like the evil eye, the homunculus, the black mass, they're all ways of kind of making sense of the unknown.
It's like we're trying to draw a map of those parts of reality that we can't quite grasp.
A map of the unseen world.
And, one thing that keeps coming up is the daemon.
Yeah, the daemon is like this guiding thread through all of these rituals.
Can you remind me again what it is? I mean, it seems pretty important.
It's like your inner voice, your intuition, the wisest part of yourself.
Like that little voice that tells you what to do?
Yeah, but it's more than that. It's the part of you that's connected to something bigger, something beyond yourself.
Okay, so it's not just about calling on outside forces. It's about tapping into something within.
That's it. And the text says that if you're going to mess around with magic, you need to have a strong connection with your daemon.
It's like a safety net.
Yeah, but more than that. It's about aligning yourself with the flow of the universe, not trying to fight it.
That actually makes me think about the Black Mass again, and how the text reinterprets it as a, celebration of feminine power.
Yeah, that's a powerful reinterpretation. And the use of menstrual blood, it's so striking.
I know it's a little shocking at first, but when you think about what they're trying to say, it makes sense.
It's about reclaiming that power, rejecting the shame and secrecy that surrounded menstruation for so long.
It's about celebrating the natural cycles of life and death.
Exactly.
So, wrapping up this black magic journey, what are the biggest lessons here?
I think the main takeaway is that black magic isn't just about evil spells and curses. It's about exploring those hidden forces that shape our reality, understanding the power of the mind, and being aware of the consequences of our actions.
It's about respecting those forces, being mindful, being careful.
Right. It's about knowing what you're getting into.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's definitely made me rethink some of my own ideas about magic and the occult.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yep.
Challenging our assumptions and expanding our understanding.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me on this exploration. And to everyone listening, thanks for tuning in. Keep an open mind, stay curious, and as always, embrace the mystery.